Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of My Wildlife Story. In this series, we have conversations with the people who work in the field of wildlife and environmental conservations. Right from the researchers to the activists, we bring you the people who can guide us in our journeys ahead. Myself, Ms. Sakshi Jadhav, intern at Naturalist Foundation, will be your host for the day. And today we have with us someone who has received a presidential award for her very own project. Someone who believes that everything is possible if the person has the dedication and the passion to do so. It is none other than Miss Tiasa Adhya from West Bengal. Without wasting any more time, let's get Tiasha into the conversation. So, your first question is, what exactly has been your career journey till the date?
Okay, so basically, I finished my graduation in zoology back in 2008. And ever since I can remember, I think I've always wanted to be in the field of wildlife conservation. So as soon as I finished graduation, I wanted to look for opportunities. Like nowadays, it's really nice to see, you have platforms like Yeti and all, where you have a lot of opportunities flooding your inboxes. But 12 years ago, it's not that much back, but still, I mean, we didn't really have so many opportunities coming up our way. So I kind of and I grew up in a city, and the first time I went to a forest was in the age of 21 years, and then I was like thrilled with my first visit to the forest, and I was sure that that's what I want to do, be in the field of wildlife conservation. So I was looking for opportunities to prove to myself whether I can stand the test of the field. And so I got an opportunity to work in an NGO in West Bengal, and I got a nice experience from the mangrove forests to the mountain forests in West Bengal. And
Correct.
during a tiger census in the Sundarbans, that's when a forest guard kind of pointed out towards this small pug mark, which was the size of a domestic dog. It was, the smaller version of a tiger. And he said that this is a fishing cat's pug mark. And I
Okay.
didn't know what the cat was. And, one thing led to another, and my interest grew in the cat, and I wanted to look for it and understand it. And, at that time, there wasn't anybody to guide as such.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
know that the fishing cat is a wetland species, but there are so many types of wetlands. Where do you look for a cat? Where do you look for the signs of the cat? So it was through the field, uh, and I was lucky enough to get funding and kind of start my work. And, slowly and steadily, we kind of got to know where to look for the cat, and, what sort of conservation issues there are. And simultaneously, of course, I wanted to be in the field of conservation, but then when you do conservation, you also want your conservation to be informed by science.
True.
And for
True.
that, you need training, you need some sort of guidance. So I also am very lucky that I got the opportunity to interact with a lot of ecologists and take courses in Bangalore. In Bangalore, there are so many organizations and institutes, very good ones.
Correct.
um, so simultaneously I was developing my theoretical base, my practical training, and then I was also doing my field work. And in 10 years, like from 2014, I slowly, interacted with other fishing cat researchers and conservationists in the world who were just
Correct.
starting off at the time, like in Sri Lanka, then in Nepal, in Bangladesh. And we formed a loose coalition of scientists and researchers and conservationists called the Fishing Cat Working Group. And just this year, we registered as an organization called the Fishing Cat Conservation Alliance. It's a global organization, a global alliance of fishing cat researchers and conservationists.
Great.
And, you know, like 10 years back, there wasn't much hue and cry about the fishing cat because it's one of those small cats, even though
Correct.
it's quite a medium, you can call it a medium-sized cat. It's the male can go up to 20 kilos. So it's
Okay.
quite, but you know, like 10 years before, there wasn't much attention on the fishing cat, but now we can see that, you know, many more people are interested, many students are getting interested. And so yeah, it has been quite a learning journey for me, both in terms of research as well as you know, learning what kind of conservation issues the species might face in outside protected areas.
Correct, correct. So your journey has been very thrilling, and I am sure it will be a source of inspiration to many. So coming to a bit different side of your journey, I would like to ask you that what were your hard times? Like, firstly, you being a female, how you managed to work independently? What about your field work? How did you manage your time? What were your family and friends responding to your decisions? So overall, how was your experience when you were into this journey?
Yeah, well, as a teenager and going into college, I had a very, you know, like cornered life, so as to speak, where very protected kind of life. And then suddenly something happened and I was out, you
Correct,
know. And,
correct.
you know, I'm one of those lucky people who has a very supportive family. Uh, and, you know, I think my family is quite thrilled that I pursued this field, and they have been very supportive and they have been really proud of what I've been doing. As regards my friends at that point of time, you know, like 1% of you know, like people are not really uh, they do not really know what it is to be in the field of wildlife. I mean, most people just say, oh, you're in wildlife, you must be doing photography, you know, and
Correct,
they don't
correct.
really know what's going on. So my friends and peers at that time didn't really know what to say, you know, didn't know how to
Right, right,
respond.
right.
So yeah, so that was part of it. And then, like you said, being a woman, you know, I must mention here that I have never really worked alone, so as to speak. I have always had a team of people,
Okay.
right? Uh, you know, as a woman, as you might be knowing, that you kind of have to be on your guard all the time, and
True.
that's respective of wherever you are in the world. So the
Correct.
same applies here as well when you're trying to work outside protected areas with humans around. Uh, well, you know, as a woman, you have to be on guard, and so it's the same rule here.
Correct.
But I think I must mention here that I've got a lot of respect and love from local people, uh, you know, who saw that there was this is a woman who is coming and working, and she doesn't really seem interested in marriage and, you know, like 9 to 5 jobs, and so as to speak. So okay, she's saying she's a researcher. Yes, research is all about, you know, dedication, you know, stuff like that. So it's like it was funny. And children also, you know, there was a lot of love which I got from children, and it has been a
Correct.
very uh, fulfilling experience to work with children, because once you can get to them, you can really get to the family, and you can spread so much of love and affection for the species.
Correct.
So I would say, you know, like I think I have got more working as a woman rather than losing. I didn't really have bad experiences in the field, but guess that's because I have been lucky and privileged. But yes, that's my story.
Yeah. So I hope actually, even me being a student personally, I wish ladies like you, females like you, should come up with the topics and we should really help our nation to develop. I am very thankful to you to initiate such kinds of project. Now, next question, very much related to your project, is what is your project Fishing Cat all about? Like, it will be great if you explain us in detail how it started, then how was your experience on fields, then what about the local people, how was their nature with you, did they support you with your questions and surveys, I mean, how it all went on?
Okay, so a lot of questions, but so can I start with the first question that you asked? I kind of lost.
Yeah. Sure. You can.
So it was about the fishing cat project.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fishing cat project, well, in the beginning, when we started off, we just named ourselves the fishing cat project without
Okay.
really for a registration of an organization, because the idea was that the fishing cat project would provide a platform for anyone who is interested in on working on the fishing cat. So anyone and everyone can come and join us in this
Correct.
work,
Correct.
to spread the message, to do conservation or anything else. So that was the idea. It was a platform. And now, as I said, now the Fishing Cat project has become part of the global organization called Fishing Cat Conservation Alliance. And, in the all of my work has been really outside protected areas, right? And
Okay.
I think the fishing cat is it's a little complicated because this is not a species which causes, major losses, life
Correct.
losses, like some other mega charismatic animal could cause. But what it does is, because there is no big loss, but these small losses which happen, and because there is not much focus on the fishing cat, it used to get, or it still gets killed or hunted
Correct.
without limelight. Okay, and sometimes what happens is, it's a nocturnal elusive cat, and people who are not acclimatized to it kind of suddenly see it in the dark, and they're like, oh my god, this is some animal which has come out, let's kill it
Come
and
out.
stuff. So there's a lot of fear psychosis, a lot of misperceptions around this animal. So I would say, so when we started working, the major thrust was on creating awareness, and slowly then going towards methods of reducing negative interactions.
Correct.
So with that, we met with, all sorts of people with all sorts of attitude, like a spectrum of from negative to positive.
Correct.
Many people were like, no, I mean, they were like, okay, but we're losing a lot of fish to the fishing cat, we're losing a lot of boats to the fishing cat, what to do about that? Many people came forward out of curiosity, they wanted to do something, and many, got attached to us, and like conducted their own conservation camps in their neighborhoods and such. So
Okay.
has been like a mixture of responses from people. Um, and so, yeah, quite a learning experience of working on this sort of a species, which is non-charismatic, which has some negative interactions with humans, but then it requires a totally different kind of conservation, conservation initiatives.
Correct. So I am sure that it will definitely prove that handling a project is handling each and every sentiment of life. That is, you need to
Yeah.
have enough concentration, observations. Along with that, you need your study and case studies. So it is absolutely amazing. And I think that is the major reason your project received a presidential award. So, first of all, congratulations to you for that. And what were your feelings when you received that award? Like, what you felt that day?
I felt numb. I wasn't feeling, I really didn't, I wasn't really feeling anything because it was just too much to take. But I would like to take this opportunity and say that, I received an award on behalf of, when I was receiving it, I was receiving it on behalf of all people who are working on fishing cats throughout the world, in India, and, with me as well, with our project as well. Because
Correct.
imagine, I mean, this is a national platform, and, the fishing cat was being highlighted. I mean, what else can you ask for? So,
Correct.
on hindsight, it feels so special that something like that could have happened. It was amazing It is still an amazing feeling to be there and, receiving, sharing the platform with such amazing women. And the other, there is a little story about this, because Mr. Pranav Mukherjee, he had started his schooling, like his teaching career, from the
Okay.
same village where we had started our awareness campaigns on the fishing cat.
Oh,
So,
that's a good coincidence altogether.
so when I went to receive the award, we were categorically told you're just supposed to go take the award and leave. You're not supposed to talk. But I just
Okay.
couldn't. I had to tell him I am from Tajpur. I am working. I work in Tajpur, where you have started your schooling career, your teaching career, and he just
Correct.
nodded, and it was very special. So it's amazing how the fishing cat kind of connected two people from different spectrum. But yeah, very
It was
amazing feeling.
altogether a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, next question is if a student like me is wanting to take up such a project or is wanting to work on such projects, what are the tips which you will give such students? What are the encouragement notes you will share that they should come up with such projects and do some research work?
So the number one thing is, if you have passion and perseverance, then this field is for you.
Correct. 100%.
Do not have a lot of expectations where that you will earn a lot of money and there'll be a lot of things you can buy in life and you'll go there and here. Don't expect that. But if
Correct.
you really love wildlife and just take the leap of faith, and then things will work out,
Correct.
is what I believe. So passion, perseverance is what you need in life. If you have that, then this is for you.
Correct, correct. But ma'am, in recent times, some of these students are finding it difficult to get an access with, the fundings you can say, or the appropriate platforms where you can connect yourself and move ahead. So what they can do in such times, like how they should get the proper connections, how they should understand the concepts well and move ahead.
So, this is a field where you have to kind of chart out your own route, your own territory. There is no
Correct,
single rule here. There are various routes, like people get associated with organizations
correct.
which have, more stable funding coming in. So there are a lot
Okay,
of these organizations float, like marine programs, for example, or
true.
grassland programs, you know. So you can get associated with projects like that, which kind of your interests match with the project's interests, and you can get associated. Otherwise, you can, like if you're what I had experienced is, as an independent researcher, I was lucky enough to meet the right people at the right time.
Correct,
And and then things just worked out, and that's what made me feel that if you have the passion and perseverance, then nobody or nothing in the world can really oust you from your line of work. You will be there.
correct,
You just have to keep an eye out for opportunities and grasp them when they come. Yes, it is getting limited because there are a lot of students passing out each year, and this is not a thriving industry, so as to speak. It's
true.
a field. And but there are opportunities that are there, and if you have your eyes and ears open, then and if you're good at what you're doing, and I believe if you will be good at what you're doing if you love your job, right? So
100%.
yeah, I mean, if you love your job and you're really good at what you're doing, you will find the opportunities. And there are
Correct,
many routes. Like one I said was an NGO. Then otherwise, you can always become like after completing your PhD or whatever, you can become a professor, and you can simultaneously conduct your research. Uh, Living the life of an independent researcher and conservationist is a little difficult because there is
difficult.
no what's going to happen next year. But if you connect with the right people at the right times, then things can really work out. And of course, to boost your career at the early stage, you have a lot of funding available,
Okay,
uh, which you have to be innovative enough to
Correct.
sell your project,
100%. Yes.
make it
Yes.
stand out so
Yeah.
that people are interested. So yeah, I would say that yes, it's different. It's not a field where you have prescription, you follow this and you go here. It's not like really like that, but people are thriving here. People are not really it's there. You just have to find your opportunities.
Yeah, like it's a triangle which is going on according to you. We need to be organized, we need to be creative, at the same time, we need to be hardworking. Great.
Yes.
So, ma'am, after this, the most important question, me being a student, like most of us are in the, we have a thought process that after our BSc, we have to complete our MSc and immediately PhD. But when it comes to you, after your BSc, you had your 10 years of research, and then now at present, you are pursuing your MSc. So, what were your feelings that time? Like, what was your mindset? What will you suggest our generation today? Why we should do? Or why we should have such a path and not we should, we should not hurry or we should not be behind only the education. I mean, the degree system. So, what is your overall mindset over this?
I wouldn't really prescribe for people not to hurry and neither to hurry. So the thing is, I didn't do 10 years of research. It was conservation which I was doing, right?
Correct.
And it is not that I didn't try to be in academics.
Okay.
I did try. It's just that one thing or the other didn't work out and I dropped off. Uh, so for me, it was so the thing is, if you want to be in conservation and
Okay.
not research, then you don't really have to go for degrees that much. You want to
Okay.
be associated with people and NGOs and gain experience and find out what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Conservation is more of activism. If you want to be a researcher, then it's best to complete your degrees as fast as possible. You do your BBSc, you do your MSc, take a break, work for 2 years, do your PhD, get over with it, and then like start your career.
True.
For me, I want to be both a conservationist and a researcher, and that's what led this gap in academics, and because I'm trying to mix and match and try to do both
Correct.
things at the so again, you have to decide what you want to do and find your own way out. At the same time, it's not essential for to always run the rat's race
Correct.
because at the end of the day, if you don't really know what you're trying to do, or you've not really found your purpose in life, then at some point of time you're going to lose steam.
100%.
So it's important to also kind of give yourself time to find out what you really want to do and then go ahead with it. So it's not necessary for people to really like run, finish everything and then get done. There's nothing like that. You still have to kind of keep on working. And
Correct.
at the same time, I wouldn't really suggest people to wait for 10 years like I have done.
Okay. Okay. So it's a good advice and all. Like you are just trying to tell that we should be very much, focused on what we are doing, and at the end of the day, the outcome should be very much, noticeable and significant. So that's great. And ma'am, what are your future plans regarding your work, like regarding your project? What are you aiming 10 years down the line?
I really want to get associated with, a wetland-centric family where, I want to be a part in creating a wetland-centric family where, artists, scientists, activists, all of them can work together and create change.
Okay.
So in the future, I'm looking at identifying collaborators who are working in the field of wetlands and augmenting or pushing the whole limelight onto wetland conservation
Okay.
and enhancing my own ideas, my own knowledge on wetlands as well. So
Okay.
that's the future goal for me.
Okay. So, ma'am, apart from this particular species which we are talking about today, that is the fishing cat. You have any plan or any idea apart from this particular species to start a project? I mean, to start a new project for any other species and work for conservation.
No, I'm still hooked onto the fishing cat for now. I
Okay.
think whatever I do, I will be doing it, you know, uh, by holding the hand of the fishing cat.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like I will
Yeah.
try to understand the kind of neighbors the fishing cat shares its space with, but
Correct.
that's with the fishing cat, not ousting it. So my
Okay.
life is for the fishing cat. That's for sure.
Okay. So it's via fishing cat you will be working for some other project if you get an
Yeah,
opportunity to.
maybe,
Okay.
maybe.
So, ma'am, at present, as we know, we are into this pandemic. Everything is online. We are not able to move out. Everything is kind of numb and still. So, in such times, how are you working for the conservation sitting at home? What are the measures you have taken without going to the field and still working for them?
I think conservation has really taken a big hit in the COVID times. For
Correct.
example, I can't be as much proactive in these times when there is so much happening.
Right.
Um, so I think most of all so. But over the years, what we have been able to do is create a network of people who are
Okay.
interested in the fishing cat. Like they are our eyes and ears watching out for the fishing cat. So whenever something happens, we do get the news, and then it's through the
Correct.
network that we, like project the news onto department so that department can take action and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's really working through that network is what's happening right now.
Okay.
But we are unable to do anything proactively in these last 6 months. Although I was in Chilka till 1 month back,
Okay.
uh, I was mostly, busy collecting data and stuff like that. But that too happened in these little bursts of whatever windows of opportunities I could get. It
Okay.
couldn't happen like it used to. So I think it's true for many other species as well that during this pandemic, I think conservation has really been hit hard.
Correct. Correct. Also know that you are a writer, right? Like you write for the nature, you write whatever things come up to you and regarding your project as well. So, how you took up your interest to writing? Like how, like what were the feelings which came up and you started writing? Because for writing, you need to be in that particular thing completely. You need to be very deep. So, what were your feelings or your mindset while you took up writing?
I have always wanted to be a writer in my life.
Okay. Okay.
And at the same time, I have always wanted to be in the field of conservation. And so I'm trying to merge the two, really.
Okay.
And it's the only way in which I feel that I am, like I can meditate. It feels like a meditative exercise. And whenever some issue comes, I feel like writing about it. Uh, so, so yeah, I mean, it's the merging of two interest issues, my two passions, and I really love enjoying writing a lot. So yeah.
Always wanting to become a writer, and then all these things came up simultaneously, and then you merged both of them. And this is what you are today. So, ma'am, final question. Like, if you have to take up your work at the international level, and if you are wanting that each and every student or each and every researcher should get a blend of your project, what are your measures you will take up, or how will you take up the project to that level?
So there are ways in which you can do that. And for example, our project, as I said, is already a part of the Global Fishing Cat Conservation Alliance.
Correct.
So it's I think social media now is quite a revolution if you don't let social media use you.
Correct.
If you use social media correctly, then it's quite a revolution because you can really reach far and wide into the
Right.
world and get your message across. So that is one of the ways. And the other way is, of course, there are a lot of platforms nowadays like Mongabay and the Wire and Guardian, and you have to push and push and push so that the media kind of covers your work.
Correct.
And it's very important to connect with the media make connections with the media people, because that is one way in which we have been able to prioritize the conservation of fishing cat in West Bengal by
Okay.
making ties with the media people. So internationally also, I'm looking at the same way, like creating ties with all these platforms, and
Okay.
of course social media is there. So these are the two ways. Media is what we are, I mean, and of course you have to be very innovative, like
Correct.
not through, I mean, you have to also look at films as a medium, and very short films, maybe, like and I think there is huge scope of including or working with advertising agencies.
Okay.
uh, they really understand the psychology of the customer, and
Correct.
so if somehow we can take that talent and project it into conservation, then I think that will work
Great,
wonders.
great. It's a great thought then. Everyone should take this up and should move ahead with his or her own project. So it was wonderful talking to you. Like I am sure most of them will take many things from whatever you have said, because people like who are very less, who are very much passionate towards their field, and just as I said, most of them are only focused on money. And even you mentioned that if you have the passion and if you're not wanting to buy each and everything in this world, you can very well survive in this particular field. So, ma'am, thank you so
Absolutely.
much for your
Thank
time
you.
and your answers. I am sure it will help many, it will inspire many. It has been inspiring since day one, to be very honest. I myself was too much like, fascinated to question you, because me as a student, I was like, yeah, like it would be a great experience to hear what exactly you say directly from you, rather than, taking, relying on some or the other page or interview. I was very happy that I'll be questioning you directly. So thanks a
My
lot.
lord.
And this is, we'll surely meet in the next episode of the wildlife story. And here we end with our today's episode. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Hope to see you all soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and all the best for your platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much.